Harrison had said it to me. He said, I didn't invent the Han Solo character. I played him, and I brought something to it, and now it's Alden's turn to make the character his own, you know, recognizing the spirit of that character.
I got a really good feeling about this.
I've tried to use this whole experience as a kind of opportunity to get really good at navigating pressure and what other people think. Because that pressure is always there on every movie. You always want to do a good job. You always want people to like the movie, and this is just a very intensified version of that. Learning that lesson, it's a nice thing to hold on to.
I have to say though, the way Alden handled the pressure was genuinely brilliant.
Pretty
and
dazzling.
a lesson for all of us to be able to see he did it with such grace and poise. You're not saying that, but I can say it.
Thought we were in trouble there for a second, but it's fine. We're fine.
It was more inviting for me in a way because it's not a sequel. It uses, you know, familiar character. It certainly is true to the spirit of Star Wars movies and the galaxy, but it's this single adventure story about one character. It's not a war movie. It's not an ensemble piece, although it's got a great cast, but it's really about here's this guy and the relationships that are gonna shape his destiny and the action, you know, events, the challenges that are gonna test him along the way. And I found that really inviting, and I connected with it. I thought a little bit about the movie Rush also, and the James Hunt character, and his sort of connection with the car that made him a champion.
You look good. A little rough around the edges, but good. The complexity that qi'ra kind of resides in throughout the whole movie is unique, I think, for her to be a woman in this environment and being able to play that complexity and being able to play that kind of mystery with regards to where does she stand? Is she good, is she not good? That classically doesn't always go to the female role. And the fact that they're getting a huge amount of airplay now is really wonderful. The hope is that we don't describe characters on screen as being strong women anymore. They're just women. Well, it's just a bit silly, isn't it? We're all strong. Yeah, it's just a part of our, you know, front foot, forward thinking, leaning in kind of characters, men and women, yeah.
I might be the only person who knows what you really are.
What's that?
When I became familiar with them as a young child, it wasn't in that first flush of magic that Paul has been saying, you know, in the 70s when they first came out. So my brother was a huge fan and I kind of was good at getting the gist of it, but it was when episode 7 came out that I then, as an adult and as an actor already, went to the movies, watched it, and was blown away by the scale. What it was doing for blockbusters was what was going to change the game forever again, and it made me realize that that's exactly how it must have felt. In the 70s, when this first came out, watching it as a professional actor, I'm like, I want to be in that. I want to be a part of that, because the scale and the caliber of it was just so utterly impressive.
I remember seeing the movies when I was 5 or 6 on VHS at a friend's house, and I had all the toys. I had a green lightsaber, and I would pretend to be on the Millennium Falcon and all that stuff that you do when you're a kid. When I actually screen tested for the movie and I was on the Millennium Falcon, it kind of felt familiar in a way. It was kind of like, oh, I kind of know this. And you know the feeling of it, you know the hallway, you know the holo chess table. So that made it nice. It put me at ease.
No, you can't wipe them off. They're Hollywood. All you got to do is think a few moves ahead, anticipate your opponent. There's a lesson to be learned here.
Ron had, what, 7 days? Something?
I had 8
days.
Yeah.
Well, then let him do it. Jesus. And in that time, like, you just kind of spoke Star Wars, and it was really wonderful to feel that we were now all making this movie and we were kind of back in things.
You know, I wasn't there, I didn't witness any of the difficulties or where that disconnect was. The one thing that I could bring to it was objectivity. Clearly, I wasn't going to step into this situation if I didn't really believe in the building blocks that were in place, if I didn't like a lot of what I had seen that was already done, if I didn't really believe in the leads of the movie. Would I ever do it? No. And so I could come in and look people in the eye and say it and mean it. I did think that I was always going to keep a sort of professional distance from this one because it's not something that I had developed and nursed along forever. But because of the creative energy around it, because I did connect with the story, and I loved working with this cast, and Bradford Young, the cinematographer, and the team around the movie, in no time I was just all in.